Hi everybody. We are going to be doing another science experiment today. Today the experiment is whether some things sink or did they float up at the top of the water. So what I have here is I have a big jar that you can see through that has water in it, and I have many different items here that I'm going to be putting in one at a time, and you are going to be making the prediction whether things sink, you're going to point down, or whether they're going to float, they're going to stay up at the top of the water. So I have things like a paintbrush, scissors, a seashell, money, a crayon, I have a pencil, pretty necklace, a key, and a Duplo block, and a screw, and a foam number, and a plastic fork, Elsa again. You know I love my granddaughter. And I have sunglasses. Guess whose these are? They're not mine. And a toothbrush. Not mine either. Use it for cleaning. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one thing in the water at a time, but before I put it in, you are going to predict, is it going to sink, point down to the bottom, or is it going to float? You're going to hold your hands up high. That's what I'm going to be waiting for. Are you ready? I'm going to be putting this paintbrush in. Do you think it's going to sink or is it going to float? Make your prediction. So now I'm putting it in. Did it sink down to the bottom or did it float? I see that it's floating up on top. The paintbrush floated. Now I'm going to put in these scissors. Do you think it's going to sink or is it going to float? Make your prediction. Now I'm going to put the scissors in. What happened to the scissors? I see them down at the bottom. The scissors sank down to the bottom. Now I'm going to put in the seashell. Do you think this seashell is going to sink or is it going to stay up top and float? Make your prediction. Here it goes. What happened to the seashell? I see it down on the bottom. The seashell sunk down to the bottom. Now I'm going to take an orange crayon. Do you think this crayon is going to sink, point down, or do you think it's going to float, hands up in the air? Make your prediction. Now I'm going to put the orange crayon in. Did the orange crayon sink or did it stay up? I see the orange crayon floating up at the top of the water. Now I have a quarter. So do you think it's going to sink down to the bottom or is it going to float? Make your prediction. Now I'm going to put it into the water and it sank down to the bottom. So quick. Must be very heavy. Now I have a pencil. Do you think this pencil is going to sink, point down to the ground, or is it going to float? Put your hands up. Make your prediction. In goes the pencil. Is the pencil down at the bottom? No, it is floating up on top. The pencil floats up on the water. So now I'm going to put in these pretty beads. Do you think these plastic beads are going to sink or are they going to float? Make your prediction. Now I'm going to put in the plastic beads. In they go. The plastic beads are down at the bottom. They sank down to the bottom. Now I'm going to take this. Here's the key. I'm going to put the key into the water. Do you think the key is going to sink down to the bottom or is it going to float? Make your prediction. In goes the key. The key sank all the way down to the bottom so fast. So those of you who said that the key would sink were correct. Now I have a Duplo block. It's a plastic Duplo block. Do you think it's going to sink down to the bottom or is it going to float? Make your prediction. The Duplo block is floating on top of the water. Those of you who said that it was going to float were correct. Now I have the metal screw. Do you think this is going to sink or is it going to float? Make your prediction. In goes the metal screw. And the metal screw is down at the bottom. It sank down to the bottom. It is not floating. Those of you who said that the metal screw would sink were correct. Now I have the foam letter O, or it could be the number 0. Do you think it's going to sink down to the bottom, or do you think it's going to float? Make your prediction. Now I'm going to put the letter O or the circle into the water. Did it sink? No, it is floating up on top of the water. Things that float stay up on top. Now I'm going to put in Elsa. Do you think this fork is going to sink or do you think it's going to float up on top of the water? This one is made partially of metal and some of plastic, just in case that makes a difference for you. Let's see. Make a prediction. Do you think it's going to sink? Move your hands down. Or is it going to float? Now put it in the water. It sank down to the bottom of the water. Bye, Elsa. Let me come and get you. Elsa sunk down to the bottom of the water. Now I have these butterfly sunglasses. Do you think these sunglasses are going to sink or are they going to float? Make your prediction. Move your hands down if you think they're going to sink. Keep your hands up if you think it's going to float. In they go. Oh, the sunglasses have sunk down to the bottom, even though they're made out of plastic like all these other things that were plastic. That one was surprising to me. Now I have the toothbrush. Do you think it's going to sink or do you think it's going to float? Make your prediction. In goes the toothbrush. The toothbrush is floating. Good job. Those of you who said it was going to float were correct. Now, when I was picking these things, I really didn't think about how many things were going to sink and how many things were going to float. But let's count. How many things are going to have sunk and how many things stayed floating? So I have things that are floating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Things that sunk down to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, which number is bigger, 8 or 6? Show me how you can make 8 or 6 with your hands to show me which number is bigger, 8 or 6. Good job, you are right. 8 is a bigger number than 6. Oh, here's a trick question. How much bigger is 8 than 6? Start counting at 6 and think 7, 8. How much more is 8 than 6? Try it again. I'm going to do it real quick. Ready? 7, 8. How much bigger is the number 8 to the number 6? Those of you who caught it real quick and said 2 were correct. Good job, guys. Okay, that's the end of our experiment. So what you can do is next time you take a bath, before you have a bath, go around in your house and look for things that your mom or dad say that you can bring into the bathtub to try this experiment. The phone would not be be a good idea to take in, nor would the iPad. Why not? But go around with your family and take a plastic bowl or a bag and look for things that you want to experiment when you take the bath and predict. Do you think the things are going to sink or do you think the things are going to float? And you have fun doing that experiment either tonight or tomorrow when you take your bath. I'll see you in another minute. Bye.